Are you finding yourself that at the end of the month, your money is not balancing? You don't have enough money in the bank, although you're earning a fairly good salary, and you just can't put your hands onto where your money is going? Well, that's why I decided to put this video, just to put out there some information for somebody who may be new in the country, or somebody who just needs a reality check about where their money is going and how they can be able to save that money to be able to put together towards some savings, or just see something. Because if you're not saving, then where are you going? We often ask ourselves that. And unfortunately, we are living in a climate where the country is going through an economic downturn, and there are a lot of inflationary pressures which are affecting areas such as energy, gas, or even council tax. So a lot of people are really struggling because these bills are taking their tolls. So I just decided, you know what, I wanted to put a video for somebody so that they can have a reality check of where their money is. Sometimes it helps. This is information I didn't have when I first came into this country, and I had to learn the hard way about some of the most basic to those who know. But to somebody new, this video is going to be very, very useful. The pound feels really good when you're receiving it, when you're in Africa or in somewhere else, when it's been changed to US dollar and you get it. But when you are in England, to accumulate it, build it, and do something tangible, one's got to really be intentional and work very hard, which is what a lot of those people that came ahead of some of you did, to be able to make the little difference they were doing both home and abroad. So for the purpose of this video, I've just decided to take somebody whose take-home salary is 2,000 a month, and somebody who's living in a one-bedroom flat for £700 a month. And that person would be a single person, right? So everything I'm going to talk about is just estimates. So we're looking at electricity, £60 to £90 a month, and we're looking at gas, £40 to £60 a month. Water, we're looking at £30 to £50 a month. Council tax, we're looking at £100 to £150 a month. Car insurance, we're looking at £100 to £150 a month. And with car insurance, be mindful that it depends with the make, the model of the car, where the car is going to be parked, and also, like I said, the make of the car. Because if you're going to have a BMW, you'll end up having to pay high costs, and where your car is going to be parked, if it's known for high crime, the insurance will be affected. So what I've said is really basic. And if you're a new driver, your insurance is going to be a lot higher. So factor these things in mind. And you're also looking at fuel. Let's just say you're driving a distance of 200 to 300 miles per month. That will be looking at 80 to about £120 a month. That's just estimates. Again, things like fuel consumption there's a number of factors, again, that you take into consideration: the size of the car, how you're driving the car. If you drive your car erratically, changing speeds at all time, that's going to take your fuel. You should make sure that your tire pressures are all, there's enough pressure in your car. That again will save you on fuel. And another saving that you can have on things like insurance is you could actually consider fitting a black box in your car, especially if the insurance is too high for a period of time. That will significantly reduce the amount that you are paying. And a year after you have been driving, and if you haven't accumulated any points or any tickets that have required you to affect your license, then you may be able to shop around and get a slightly cheaper insurance a year down the line. Next bill will be mobile phone. So the mobile phone bill, we're looking at typical contract, £30 to £50 a month. And then grocery for one person, we're looking at £150 to £250 a month. Again, it all depends on what you're buying, what you're eating, how healthy you are. If you're cooking your things from fresh and freezing some of the things, then that varies, that's variable. So the total of all the things that I've talked about, these are just the things that you may need on a day-to-day. We haven't even gone to the luxurious items, just basic. For the person who's living carefully, I think your total at the end of the month after you've paid all the bills will be about 1,348. And for the person who's more on the high end, on the extravagant side, we're looking at 1,983 thereabouts. So really, if you're going to be from a salary of 2,000, be extravagant before you've even gone to pay incur other additional costs, you'll probably be left with about £16. Whereas if you're living on the economical side, you'll be left with £651, 25 thereabouts. So this is where your money is going. We haven't even touched upon clothes. We haven't even touched upon things like income protection insurance, which I feel sometimes for some people who are new in the country, if you haven't got savings and if you've got children, an income protection insurance can help you in case you become ill and you're not going to be able to work for prolonged periods of time. You may be able to get sick pay up to a certain time, but I think to get some sort of insurance will be a good backup, so that you can have your bills paid and so forth. We haven't even touched upon black tax, which is most of us are affected by that. So that's coming from that little bit of money left. And we haven't even touched upon recreational. We haven't touched upon clothing, if you're going to be buying new clothes and so forth. So that's going to be another little money going out. So if you're sitting there and wondering, where is your money going? Actually, from the things I've mentioned, you haven't even been extravagant, apart from if you're not really looking after your gas and electricity and setting it the way that I touched it up in my previous video, where I talked about how you can save money within your home as well. And the other ways that you could save money to maximize on that income will be to consider, if you're a single person, a shared accommodation, and maybe looking at somewhere where the bills are shared. So you can be sharing your bills with the other tenants within the household you'll be living in. And you may consider the black box, like I said, with the insurance, and also consider shopping in places like Lidl and Aldi, so that you may be able to buy things that are a lot cheaper. And another thing that I would also recommend is that you set up a direct debit with probably a different account. And this direct debit, you'll be able to put money straight from your main bank account and moving it to your savings account, so that you have some savings. Because if that money stays in your account, you'll think that you've got a little bit of money when you don't. So these are some of the things to be able to consider. And in addition, what I would say as well, which I think this couple tends to favor a couple, like two people, not saying that, to offend anybody who's on their own. But when you're on your own, you've got to be intentional about how you're going to navigate through where you're going to live. But a couple, you've still got that one salary left. But again, do not get carried away with that extra salary, because if you've got kids, you might end up needing maybe a 3-bedroom property, which will cost a lot more. You're looking at 1,000, 1,100 for that. So the council tax goes up based on the size of the property. Your bills will be higher than the ones I've mentioned when you're a couple. And then you throw in children's uniforms, clothes, food, and sometimes you have to heat the house a bit more, and then even activities for children. So you'll still find that saving that you have as a couple, there will still be a little bit of addition, but you will be able to save a little bit more than a single person. And I hope that some people who may be watching home and abroad, who have these huge expectations on people or relatives that have come over here and thinking, oh, they're calculating their wage, oh, by the time they end this, they've got so much that they're taking home at the end of each month. That money is already finished. As you can all see, the budget that I did earlier, that they are left with very little, which is what leads a lot of people in this country to burn out, because in order for them to plan a holiday, they've got to do extra shifts. They've got to work every hour under the sun. They've got to work on their days off to be able to provide for their extended family and relatives abroad. So what I'm saying is, because many people's mental health is being affected by the fact that they're really in shock and they just hadn't even anticipated that things are going to be so expensive. So this breakdown puts things into perspective for someone, and it also will help somebody to plan before they embark on this journey to finding a flat. I would say for somebody who's living on their own, and if you haven't got any savings, if you're still trying to navigate your way around the country or around the job situation, I think, a shared room is the most appropriate option. I would be recommending that than getting into a flat with all these additional bills. But then rooms are also expensive, and if you're in London, that's a completely different ball game, because London is very expensive. Rooms are ranging between 800 900 for just one room, inclusive of bills. Then you're looking at the transport, the parking. Everything seems to be so expensive in London, but I know that there are some employers that help with accommodation and so forth and so forth. So one will, if you look at this budget, I'm hoping that it will help you to be able to have a starting point, and you can tweak it and you can see what you can take and leave, what works for you. I really hope that it will help someone else who was just in a bit of a pickle. And if you found this video very helpful, by all means, please let me know in the comment section. And if there are any ways that you've been able to save, or that you can advise somebody who may be watching this video on how they can get around their finances, please feel free to be able to help. And if you've watched this till the end, it's Shelley here. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching and supporting this channel. And please subscribe and like and share with your friends, so that you can support and promote my video. I really appreciate each and every one, and all my regular ones that are always commenting. You guys keep me going, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. Till next time, take care. Bye.